Hi, and welcome to Beyond Empty Nest. I'm your host, Jody Silverman, speaker, mentor, and Chief Dare Officer at Moms Who Dare. Every Thursday, I'll share stories of midlife transformation, happiness tips, and dare you to see the opportunities waiting for you so that you can make this next chapter even better than the last. If you're ready to dare, I'm ready to dare with you. Let's get into today's episode. Hey there. Let me start with asking you a question. How many of you listening right now would like to feel a little bit happier by the end of this episode, this week, or even this month? All right, I know everybody's raising their hand because who doesn't want to feel more happy, right? We don't want to feel less happier. Here's the thing, resilience and seeing the glass not just half full, but actually overflowing, it comes naturally to me. Don't hate me for it. It just does. And I've always been curious as to why this is. So I set out to read books on optimism, mindset, and happiness. And it was during a conversation with a fellow coach that I learned about Marci Shimoff's book and certification program called Happy for No Reason. Well, the title alone just stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, yes, that's me, happy for no reason. So I immediately purchased the book, and a year later, I enrolled to become a certified Happy for No Reason trainer. Finally, I had unlocked the why behind some people's abilities to bounce back quicker than others, and how it's possible for everyone, even you, to increase our resilience and happiness levels by learning how to use some simple tools and strategies. Today, I'm going to share the one thing that can help you not only increase your resilience when life challenges hit, but also have you increase your ability to see that glass half full. And maybe you begin to see it even overflowing like me. And the first key or the foundation to feeling happier overall is by understanding one important thing. Happiness is an inside job. And we are 100% responsible for our own happiness. Boom. Let that land. I said it. Sometimes we have to say the hard things here on Beyond Empty Nest. We are 100% responsible for our happiness. I know. I hear some of you thinking you're saying out loud, do not hit stop. This is important. But Jody, how can my happiness not be affected by the economy when it sucks, or my boss being a jerk, or my grown kids ghosting me because they live far away and they just don't feel like talking to me right now? It's simple. It really is simple. Not easy, but it's simple. While life's challenges can knock us down, bringing on all those feelings of sadness and stress and anger and frustration, they're also here to teach us something, usually something about ourselves. So this is all about self-awareness. Laying a strong foundation towards feeling happier from the inside out is about becoming self-aware of what's going on up here. And the first step in building your strong foundation toward what my happiness trainer Marci calls your inner home of happiness is to become aware of the saboteurs that are robbing us of our happiness. One big saboteur is living your life as a victim versus the victor in your life. And that comes with identifying if you're caught in blaming, shaming, and complaining. Blaming, shaming, and complaining are sabotaging and robbing you of your happiness. Because when you're blaming, shaming, and complaining, you are living in a victim mentality of your life versus the victor of your life. So I want you to ask yourself, where am I blaming, shaming, and complaining about myself and others in and for my life? Blaming is all about blaming other people and circumstances for your unhappiness. For example, your boss not being very nice. Shaming, I'm talking about self-directed blame and shame, beating yourself up because maybe you gained 10 pounds during a pandemic, or saying I'm fat, or saying to yourself, thinking to yourself, I never follow through on my goals. And then the complaining, the blah, 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 blah. The economy sucks. The weather sucks. This person wasn't nice to me. Whatever it is, but getting caught in the blame, shame, and complaining of life is keeping you stuck in victim mentality and keeping you from feeling happier from the inside out. And here's a great quote from Viktor Frankl and his book, Man's Search for Meaning, that expresses this perfectly. And I'm going to read you the quote now. We who lived in concentration camps can remember the men who walked through the huts, comforting others, giving away their last piece of bread. They may have been few in number, but they offer sufficient proof that everything can be taken from a man or woman, but one thing, the last of all human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way. Powerful, right? Being a victim or a victor of and in your life is a choice. But you first have to be aware that you're in the blame, shame, and complaint space, because so much of what we do and say and think has become habit, and it's in our subconscious. We're not even aware of how we're blaming, shame, and complaining. So here's your dare. Are you ready for your dare? Because we always give a dare. Part one of your dare is we're going to bring your thoughts to the conscious awareness of how you're blaming, shaming, and complaining, because we all do it. I even do it. You're going to grab a piece of paper, a pen, and a journal, and you're going to write down these four sentences, and you're going to complete them. Something I blame is, and just write. What are the things that you blame? Something I complain about is. Something I shame myself for is. And then your fourth sentence is, if I were to take a little more responsibility for my happiness, I would blank. That's the first one. That's doing the inside work. That's bringing to your conscious awareness, really thinking about, okay, I really do blame my boss. I do blame the economy. I complain about the weather. Finish those sentences. Okay. Step two is to begin to pay attention to the conversations you have with other people. Are you going out to lunch with your bestie and all you're doing is bitching, moaning, and complaining about everything and everybody? That's not doing anybody any good. That's keeping you in a victim mentality, whether you think it is or not. It's sabotaging your ability to raise your happiness level, which sabotages your ability to increase resilience to bounce back from life challenges. If you notice that your conversations are really negative and blaming, shaming, and complaining, be the one to pause it and be intentional to shift the conversation. Maybe make a suggestion to play the game of, instead of complaining today, let's talk about something good that's happened in our life this last week, month, and share what's good, because something good has happened. Something good is always there. And then step three is notice how you begin to feel inside. When you start to identify how you're sabotaging yourself with blaming, shaming, complaining, and the conversations you're having with other people, and you can shift that. So you're bringing it to your awareness and then you shift it. Notice how you feel inside. Do you feel lighter? Do you actually feel a little happier, a little more positive, a little more optimistic? And as always, I'd love to know if that's happened for you. How did this episode land for you? Connect with me on social. Leave us a comment or a review. And a great mantra that I want to leave you with, and write this down, keep it with you, put it on your screensaver. The mantra that can help you, support you in laying this foundation of owning, being the victor in your life is, if it's to be, it's up to me. Say it with me. If it's to be, it's up to me. All right, everybody. Until next week, dare on. Thank you for listening to this episode of Beyond Empty Nest. Head over to jodysilverman.com for our full show notes, more information, and additional resources to support you through empty nest and midlife. And if you've enjoyed today's show and are ready to embrace this midlife chapter, then you must take the Happy for No Reason quiz. When you take the quiz, you'll discover what your happiness set point is and how you can increase it and continue to strengthen it. This is just one key to navigating life transitions and discovering your most fulfilled and daring life. So go ahead, click the link below and take the quiz now. I'll see you next Thursday. They're on.